one thing I've always said about Brian Flores up to this point is that if you think he's doing a good job and you trust what he's doing, right? Even if you don't agree with it, you have to at least respect the decision until proven otherwise.
What decision wouldn't you agree
just
with?
Just in general, just the organization in general, from beginning of last year to now, with how things have transpired, from going to going to be the worst team ever, all the things that's been said, from the, changing of the quarterbacks, just so many different decisions that they've made, even from paying Xavien Howard, paying Byron Jones, letting certain guys go.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Laramie Tunsil trade.
With all the
Laramie
big,
Tunsil
with all the
trade.
big stuff right now, there's really not one to hang over their head. I mean, they've really seemed like they've nailed everything with this plan so far.
And just think, and to be honest with you, that's rare.
Yeah.
Okay? It's very rare
like
when
you
every
can
decision you make works out according to plan.
You could nitpick at some stuff, like you could mention the running back stuff. You could mention, you could pick anything. No one's going to have flawless, but if you're talking about the big stuff right now in their 2-year window, it's been pretty fantastic. It's been pretty fantastic for what they've done. And the thing that I think that's interesting about this, we talk about the young quarterbacks, and obviously a lot of the focus was on Herbert versus Tua yesterday. Guilty. But what's interesting is, I heard this Matt Hasselbeck. He was up there crying and whining yesterday. I really don't like him, by the way.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Is that the other Hasselbeck you were stroking?
No.
Both
Matt is the one that worked out with Tua.
No,
That's Dilfer.
That's Dilfer, dude.
Oh, that's Dilfer. Okay. I'm getting them all accrued. You know what they all are? Quarterbacks who didn't play. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
and bald and white. Yeah, I got you. They're the same.
Yeah.
But this Hasselbeck's just up there like, this could have not worked out because you have all the defense going together, and he's just being a sourpuss up on there on Sunday countdown. And I'm just like, you want to know, bro? How about this? How about the words "I'm wrong" come out of your mouth, and instead of just dancing around it, be more like Orlovsky. Take some accountability. He wants to be up here saying like, well, it's working out for Tua, but let's not forget how good the defense is. Like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Wasn't your whole point the entire time was that Tua was going to screw this up because you shouldn't leave Ryan Fitzpatrick, and yet you still sit up there, Hasselbeck, incorrect. Just like when you told the Packers you were going to get the ball and score, you still sit up. Was it the Packers that he said that to? I don't remember.
it
And he threw a pick. He was with Seattle, yeah.
Yeah, you still sit up there acting like, oh, you're going to get this, you're going to predict something. And meanwhile, you're completely on the other side of it. And so the thing that's funny about it is we keep acting like, the Dolphins were going to be in this terrible spot for their young QB, when in fact they're in a better spot than the other two teams. Right. They're so well-rounded. The other parts of this football team are picking Tua up, and Tua's just there to kind of fill out the missing pieces during a game.
Again, I hate when a person who has played the position, right, has takes like this for the simple reason of, we look at Tom Brady now as 6-time champ. We look at Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger has two
Super Bowls?
2 Super Bowls.
Yes.
Right? Go take a look at the numbers of each one of those guys first year they won a Super Bowl. Okay? Let's not act as if though every time a team has won a Super Bowl or had success, it's because of great play by a quarterback. And so they're quick to stand up and say, it's about the team, it's the team, it's the team, it's the team, right? But then won't give the team credit when it's a team win. Right now, what Tua is doing is he's playing his part. He's playing his part. He's protecting the ball. He's making big throws when he has to.
He's great in the red zone.
He's not being asked to be a Drew Brees or Tom Brady, because he's been playing football for 4 weeks.
But there's only 2 things that could really screw up right now what the Dolphins are doing, and it would be being bad at red zone scoring and giving the other team the football. 2 things that I would not want Ryan Fitzpatrick to be in charge of. and so, yeah.
No, hey, man. Hey, you do not have to step on one guy to make your guy look
I'm not,
good.
though. I'm not stepping on him, Leroy. How many games did we see this year where Fitzpatrick, who was fine, but when it got down to the red zone, you knew it was going to be field goal central?
Okay, but that's fine. But this is just from a Tua perspective and where Tua fits in as far as what quarterbacks have done before him, right? This is normal. Everybody's making it sound like, oh, but he only did this and he only did that. Go look at the numbers for Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger, their first year winning the Super Bowl. You'll be shocked. Because if a quarterback today had those numbers, you call him a bum.
Texter writes in, it's official. I'm buying a Von Ginkel jersey. Who's with me? Well, I mean, it's a Von Ginkel.
Don't forget to get the mullet sticking out the back.
I love that guy. He's second on the team in NFTF.
Right.
Which is a new stat. If anybody's new to the show, NFTF is nose for the football. He ranks second on the team behind Xavien Howard.
Would we agree that the biggest improvement this year, granted the defense, yes, because before last year they were like the worst in the league or bottom third. Okay, but the biggest improvement this year has to be O-line.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Like he running away, right?
No sacks.
Like if you had to pick a most improved, just give everybody on offensive line minus the bowler.
Dude,
yesterday.
I love them putting Kinley in the backfield.
Oh my god! You know whose job he took, right?
Love that.
You know whose job he took?
Who?
That's Christian Wilkins' job.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Well, did you see Christian Wilkins? Yes, Christian Wilkins missed the game with COVID. Van Noy did play.
Right, was he on that?
He was on the list,
Was
but
that
he was on the
Alabama
list.
coach? He was.
He's on the. Yeah, he had that Saban vaccine.
He's on that Saban.
Yeah, he's on that Saban. But it was so I was cracking up. He took this down off Instagram. I don't know if people were confused, maybe thought he was actually in the locker room, but Christian Wilkins put up a video of himself getting ready for the game, and he's actually dressed in his uniform, which I assume is at his house. So he's yeah. He's like, you thought he's got the Pedialyte getting ready, hydrated for the game. Hilarious.
No, he's at the house.
Yeah. I don't know why he took it down. I think somebody probably said, hey, Christian, they probably think you're at the game, man. You need to take that down. It was hilarious.
Now they got to bleach his uniform so nobody else gets the COVID. It'd be different if he had some COVID hanging on his jersey.
UD had the helmet on before the game. He's pumped up for it. I saw Rick Ross shouting.
Did he need help getting it off?
-1, bro.
-1.
I'm just saying.
-1, bro.
-1.
UD loves the Dolphins, man.
How about Duncan Robinson?
Oh, the stroke man was at the game yesterday, Leroy.
Yeah?
Yeah, they gave him a jersey.
All right.
Love that. The only guy in the building more accurate than Jason Sanders. Thanks a lot, Gumble.
Oh, the jinx.
Gumble was such a jinx yesterday.
20 in a row.
Oh, 20 in a row. Like, he just kept doing it. And you knew what he was doing. He was fishing for a jinx.
Really?
Oh, he was fishing for a jinx. You knew it. You know, he's sitting there. Who was he doing the game with, Robbie? Was it Rich?
Yeah.
He goes, hey, Rich, why don't you give me some live bait? I'm out here fishing for a jinx.
Right.
Cast
I gotta
it
tell
out.
you what, they gotta be one of the better special teams in the country too, in the league.
Oh yeah, Hawks.
Oh, no doubt.
With turnovers, the block punts, the field goal kicker, the punting,
Jakeem Grant.
Jakeem Grant.
I thought he came so close to busting another one yesterday.
Ooh,
so close.
man. Ooh, yeah.
Who needs Rizzy?
So it's definitely one of those situations where, like, it's just fun to see how this is all coming together after. More importantly, it's fun watching where things are headed after where they started.
Yep.
Because when you think of, I'll give you some examples. The Jets,
Disaster.
the Browns,
Disaster.
Buffalo,
Yeah.
Cincinnati, all teams that spent years trying to do this, right? And haven't been able to pull it off this quickly.
Nope.
And so it's impressive. I like just watching it all come together and watching these guys, even after having, some guys out, some guys banged up, no real running game, and you're finding ways to win games. Now, it will come to the point, like I was always told, once December hits, you better be able to run the football.
Yep.
And so they're going to have to be creative with how they get the ball in people's hands quickly, whether it's the bubble screens, whether it's, a lot of motions, guys going all over the place. But you're going to have to be more productive running the football.
The good thing for them, though, is they only really have one game where you would think they're going to face bad weather because they got 3 home games, then 1 in Vegas, and then they end the season in Buffalo, which is obviously a game where, it could be trouble throwing the football around.
And don't forget the Altitude on this Sunday.
Give yourself a point.
Point for Robbie.
You have to be excited about where this Dolphins team is.
Dude, Brian Flores is the man. This defense looks amazing.
Biggest turnaround is 2, the defense, but they had been adding talent. So from that standpoint, when you look at the talent that they added and the money that they spent, you could see the turnaround. Mm-hmm. But that offensive line, 0 sacks.
Yep.
0.
I thought the offensive line was supposed to get worse with Tua at quarterback.
Well, that's first of all, Robbie, there was only one person speaking like that.
2.
Arlovsky.
You, huh?
Arlovsky
Yeah.
and
Robbie.
Kimes.
And Robbie.
No, I never said that.
No, we were laughing at the pundits who were
Right.
like, "Oh, the
hey, man.
Dolphins' guard block hold ratio is at 4.92."
Here's what I
It's gonna
realized.
get worse.
Here's what I realized. Okay? I watch the Cleveland games and I watch the Dolphins games. I talk about the Dolphins down here. I talk about Cleveland up there.
Yeah, with
Okay?
Goldhammer.
But when I'm asked about other teams, without seeing the game, all I have is the numbers in front of me. And I'm more than sure that they are not watching these games and they're coming up with their conclusions based on numbers. Okay? So everybody that said Tua wasn't the guy, you got to play him to see if you need to go out and draft another quarterback. All these things that people were saying without even acknowledging how that first game was played, right? You should have never had to. If you're around football long enough and you've seen the number of young quarterbacks have success while not being Pro Bowlers their first 5 starts, you have to at least acknowledge
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know
that.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because the Dolphins have been a joke for so long that everybody expects them to mess this up. But this tandem of Chris Grier and Brian Flores has done such an amazing job. And even they weren't even allowed to do their job without getting ridiculed for it last year. Like everybody now this year, let me ask you something. Have you heard one peep about a team tanking for Trevor Lawrence? I'm asking you. Have you heard anybody give a negative review of it?
Here, if you want a poster child, right, to get away with that in your organization, hire you some Adam Gase.
Yeah, but don't even make it Adam Gase, make it the Jaguars, make it the Texans, any of these teams. That nobody has come at this with the standpoint of, they're endangering their players, they're an embarrassment to the sport. That is what Brian Flores had to deal with all of last year. So dealt with that bull crap.
But it helps. Look, it helps that here's what I'll say about that. Is that Brian Flores, the way he handles himself, can handle something like that because he knows it's not true. Whereas somebody like Adam Gase, who feels that he has to defend every single thing that's said about him, can't handle that situation, and that's why he's not here.
Maybe, but the point of it is that everybody who is on the path to getting Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields this year hasn't dealt with a pinch of the crap that the Dolphins had to deal with last year.
That's fine.
Then we get to this year, and everybody's sitting here and acting like them benching Ryan Fitzpatrick is like them casting off Dan Marino. I mean, it's like, oh, how could you do such a thing?
Look. See, and here's the problem with this talk in general, is that basically people feel like they have to say something to get a pop. When the reality of it is if you watch the film, right, which they all claim to do, right, you could have found legitimate reasons as to why they made the change, which I gave you. I told you why, right? I also said some of the same things that they said, right? But I prefaced it by saying, from the football perspective, which is what they all supposed to be experts at, I gave you reasons why they went to Tua. Mm-hmm. And basically, those reasons have played out pretty good.
You're right, but your sound reasons aren't as good as Adam Schefter coming out like Hulk Hogan and getting the cheap pop, and he goes, actually, they're doing this to try him out.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
Oh, are they?
Exactly.
Oh, okay, so let me get this straight. So you're going to tell me that you think this is the same as Kyler Murray and Josh Rosen, where it would basically be the GM admitting, hey, I swung and missed on a quarterback. And what seemed as a very quarterback-rich draft, I swung and missed after a year. Like, that's a good look upon the organization? The dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Here's the other thing. You're also saying that a team that basically said they wanted Tua for 2 years and finally gets Tua is going to dump him in a year? That makes no sense.
No sense. No sense at all. So, all in all the lies, all these charlatans out there. I'm looking at you, Chris Sims. I'm looking at you, Hasselbeck, both of yous. All right, but mostly Matt. All right, because he's the one who's always a wet blanket every time. Thank God for Rex Ryan, and I can't believe I'm saying this, always putting him in place on that Sunday countdown. Because Hasselbeck, every week, he's like, well, it could have been Fitzpatrick, too. No, it couldn't have. That's what mediocre quarterbacks say about mediocre quarterbacks. All right? We're talking about
game recognizes game.
That's right. That's right. And so here's Brian Flores. Let's hear a little bit from Coach Flo. A little philosophy for you ass. Here's Brian Flores calling it a total team win after yesterday.
I think there was a total team effort. Always started fast, played well in the kicking game. Offense punched it in, so got a defensive stop. Got the block on special teams, and then the offense punched it in after that. And then we got off to a fast start. I think defensively we played, we made it hard for them early in the game, getting off the field on third down. A lot of guys played well. Thought it was good communication, really across the board defensively, in the kicking game, offensively. The X's play was a big play in the game. I wish we would have turned it around and made a little bit more out of that next offensive series. A lot of things we can correct in the game, but it's nice to make those corrections in a win.
Couple of crazy stats. I mentioned this one earlier, but just in case you missed it, according to Andrew Siciliano, big ears, he says Dolphins
Baby
have now,
New Year.
Dolphins have now forced at least one turnover in 15 straight games, which is bananas. Here's another one for you, ass. This comes from the Miami Dolphins Twitter account. Since December of 2017, Leroy, Xavien Howard has 17 interceptions, most in the NFL. I also want to add on that, he tore his ACL in the midst of that.
Right. Remember, everybody was questioning whether they should have gave him all that money.
So he leads the NFL while also having a catastrophic injury in the midst of all of that. He is so good at getting the other team's football.
It's amazing. And oh, by the way, in case you're wondering, they're not trading him.
No.
They're not fielding calls.
The trade deadline.
You funny how that died down. He get another couple of picks, And that no longer is a question.
Phone call, restructure his contract. More money.
Look,
He should get paid more than Byron Jones now.
here's what I'll say. That I don't know how long this is going to last. The only thing I've said about Brian Flores is from the day he's gotten here, he's handled himself in a way that gives you hope. With every decision that he's made, whether you believe it or not, right? Whether you trust it or not, you have to give him the benefit of the doubt, what him and Chris Grier have done, simply because of how this team has progressed from the start of last season to now. You have a year and a half. They've had a year and a half to show you that the plans that they have up to this point are working. And so whatever they decide, that's whether taking Tua, even though he's injured, that is whether replacing Tua with replacing Fitzpatrick with Tua after 2 wins, whether it's giving Xavien Howard all that money, whether it's signing Byron Jones to even a bigger contract, whether it's drafting another cornerback in the first round,
Whether it was trading away their left tackle.
trading away their left tackle, no matter what decision that they've made, the hope and the promise that this organization has showed has never wavered. There's always, it's still there. You've never gone into a game and left the game and said, we're done, right? Same old Dolphins. How many times have you said that this year?
Never.
None. And I've said, you got new people in line. You got new people at controls. You got a new head coach. You got a new offense. You got new players, right? Stop going into every year thinking that your results are going to be the same as last year.
Texter writes in, don't forget about Steve Young. That was left on left-hand crime.
Yes, it was.
Technically, they didn't have the lefty yet before Steve Young was complaining about it.
Oh, right.
Now that they have the lefty, I actually saw him last Monday Night Football. He was like in seventh heaven. He's so happy a lefty's out here doing things. By the way, did I hear on the broadcast yesterday that Chris Sims was the last lefty to get an NFL win?
What?
Yeah. Did I hear that?
I think you're right.
I
That's
didn't even
weird.
know Chris Sims was a lefty.
Neither did I, which makes it even weirder. This guy's out here trying to put down the southpaws. He's a self-hating southpaw.
Hey, we don't call them southpaws in football. We call them left-handers. Okay?
But southpaw, paws to the south. Yo, Adrian.
Terrence Crawford, southpaw.
Terrence Crawford's whatever he wants.
Yeah.
That's not fair. That's not fair when a guy's starting the fight off right-handed just to play with you, and then he goes, okay, switch stance, bang!
I got to tell you, my man has a lot of that Floyd Mayweather in him. So frustrating. So frustrating to fight, right?
Yep.
I mean, oh my goodness.
He goes up to him after he goes, I did this to you.
Don't forget, Leroy, they signed Jakeem Grant as well when Flores got here. Yeah. They gave a lot of young guys contract. Hey, what about what they did with Devontae Parker?
Yep.
2-year extension. But that was more along the lines of scrap that $10 million they would have had to give him. So I would be fair.
Texter writes in, I give Flo the credit. Grier is a fence straddler. He's been here the whole time, riding Flo's coattails.
No, you can't do it. Here's why.
He's the man.
Here's why. Okay? Sometimes in sports, guys have positions in the organization but no power. So unless you prove to me Chris Grier had all the decision making back then I'm not buying the fact that he's been here all that time.
Yeah,
that means nothing if you don't make the decisions.
Listen, we've sat in plenty of meetings where we're just like, whew. When we're listening to Russian ladies tell us about the Googles.
Yeah.
We're
That
like,
was
well,
funny.
bro, we're not in
Hey, I'm
control.
telling you. Guys, I'm going to just tell you, for all you listeners out there, that was almost the end of Tobin and Leroy. Because we were in a meeting and somebody spoke with a Russian accent. Nice lady. It just kind of caught you off guard. So the reason why we don't go to meetings is because I looked up at Tobin, and Tobin looked at me, and everybody was all serious business talk, and we were trying to not explode in laughter. And so, yes, we're like, excuse me?
She's still around.
Yes.
Oh, good.